Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to a fashionably fly Friday. I got two phenomenal gentlemen in the building with me today as we wrap up this week. I'm so excited because my former director of the Day with Trae, Cuddy Delgardo II, is in the building. We also got my current director, Erik Kalligraphy, in the building. He's going to be joining me too. Both of them are doing some phenomenal things in their own right, and I'm so glad that they're joining me to talk all about it today. But of course, you know it is the top of the show, so it's a great time to tag and share the stream. That's right, participate, help us grow. Just go ahead and share the stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on the Day with Trae. If you can't watch our TV show, we still got you covered. You can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network in the Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever streaming platform is your favorite. Shout out to all of our podcast listeners and to our podcast team for making that happen for all of y'all out there. Well, you know, it's been such a phenomenal week as we uplift Black women leadership this week, and y'all have been experiencing that theme with some of our phenomenal guests. So I got some good questions to ask these fellas today, aside from what they're doing. But I'm so grateful to have my guy, Cuddy, back in the building. What's up, Cuddy?
Trae, what up? It's good to be back.
Yeah, so good to see you.
Always. And I just want to say that I'm so proud of you and I miss you guys so much. And it's so cool to like see the elevation of the show and just you continue to grow, continuing to be innovative. The couches and furniture is different, like, you know. So I just love the elevation that you've been doing, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. That means the world, honestly, because you're somebody who I look to for what's good now, what's going on, what's on the street. Cuddy, you've always had your ear to the ground, you know, right? But I think it's just your generation. Y'all know what's fly, you know what's good. So to hear that from you means a lot to me. I sometimes I'm like, or is what we're doing, does it resonate, you know, with the younger market? And I just, that means a lot to me to hear you say that.
Most definitely. You've been doing your thing.
Thank you. Well, you too. You've continued to do your thing, and I remember you being here and working on music festivals, working with folks in the music industry. Tell us about some of the dope stuff you've been up to.
Still been on that with the restart, reboot, I would like to say, in the time that we had apart. I started really diving into the music industry heavily. I started working with a musical group out here, BCNF, by choice, not force. So shout out to my guys there, where we got a plethora of artists that are really making an impact here in Seattle, and what we're using as like to put to the forefront to like really brand Seattle music to the rest of the world, to kind of get that acceptance, you know, because it's like with us being so far in the top left corner, you know, so a lot of times traveling to go all the way over there and see what they got going on, it's a lot of like the communication gets dropped, I would like to say, because you got to pass California, you got to, you know, you have in Atlanta, New York. So it's like, and those are the powerhouses. So it's kind of hard to kind of steal that light or kind of push it a little bit over here. So that's really what we're doing, and just allowing people to really not take no for an answer. You know, we're going out on tour. So during that time, I put together a music showcase with these guys where we had BCNF University, which showcased our entire roster to the city, you know? And so it's like, with that being said, and like having people from different areas of the city, you don't often see that. And a lot of times, really, you don't get to see that because venues in itself, kind of considering the politics and things that go on in community and where these rappers are coming from, or just artists in general, it doesn't have to just be a rapper. We don't necessarily get those same opportunities. And it's like with these venues, it's like sad to say, but it's like a gatekeeping like nature. And so in the course of putting that event together, I got to experience it firsthand, literally getting a venue stripped from me 48 hours before our event.
Wow.
And then for a venue to wait until like after business hours to tell you, and then how are you supposed to find something then? And it's like, what do you tell these kids that just, we've been practicing. We used to have rehearsals here or in other places in the city, you know? So it's like, we've been putting in so much work. We've been, got the t-shirts, we got the commercial, the promo video, like we're doing it by the book and how it's supposed to be done. I like to call it like, we didn't do it the homie way, you know? Like we're not cutting any corners. We're not trying to look for any handouts. We're gonna go through we're gonna do the due diligence that's needed for a great event to come. So it's like for me and my team to do our part and do everything right, and for it to still not be enough, it sucked a little bit, but to continue to prevail, still find a venue, and then shout out to Cafe Racer, like huge shout out to them. Last minute allow us to come through there. We booked that space and we had a great time, and we defied all odds that was against us that night. Cause you know how people are, they're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna get shot up. I'm sending it out to people. The first thing they text back, is it gonna be safe? Oh, it's so-and-so, are they cool? Like, why do we have to deal with that? And it's like, a lot of the times people have that narrative, but the artists itself aren't even on that type of time. So it's like, they don't even get any type of benefit from doing the work that they've been doing to either A, graduate from this narrative that people used to have for them, or just to be able to just dive into their craft and just be an artist. It's like, yeah, what they did in their past, cool. You can't erase it, but at the same time, how can you hold somebody back who's willingly trying to grow from it?
Yeah. No, this is such an important message, and I'm so glad you're here to talk about it because it definitely doesn't get enough spotlight. First off, venues have been shutting down hip hop events for quite some time, right? And it's one of those things where they ask for more insurance if you're doing a hip hop event. They find all of these ways to restrict your access. Just like what you described, they drop you at the last minute, right? Trying to really impede on your success. But I love hearing the resilience. I love hearing that y'all still find a way, that you're connected enough to the city to figure out, okay, who else I need to call? How do I pull this together? But I think there's something to be said about this city in particular pouring into its artistry, and the music industry could be, we have some phenomenal talent here, but a lot of folks leave because of a lack of opportunity. So I love knowing that you're pouring your brilliance into it, because you really have a great mind for managing talent and finding a way to make it work for them. So I love hearing that. And that is really a passion of yours. You know, we don't have enough, I think, avenues for folks to be able to explore that passion too, because it gets down to the brass tacks of it. And so often, you know, you hear from almost any major artist, they're like, yo, we started with nothing. You know, it was me and my crew, we were pulling up at different stuff. As soon as they let me hit an open mic, I was hitting it. As soon as I did this, I was doing it, right? But you have to take advantage of the opportunities as they come. So that resilience is key. Tell us about some of the resilience you're experiencing with the artists you're working with.
It could go a bunch of different ways, because it's like, when it comes to managing an artist, it's like you're also managing personality, you know? And it's like, you have to kind of always remain neutral, because your artist could have a bad day. They could be going through real life situations that have nothing to do with music, but in that temporary moment, it gets in the way of it. So then, like, finding out the right words to say, or pull from the right situations or scenarios to be able to align with what they're currently going through, to be able to see them out of that rut. Because then it's like, if I don't have, like, I can't expect them to have the answer and be in the situation that's holding them back. So it's like, I have to utilize just that thought process and that way of experience, and then also putting myself in their shoes and just letting them know how, like, you're closer to where you're going than where you started. Like, that's one of my favorite quotes from Nipsey Hussle that he said, and it's like, it's so true. So just constantly being that reminder, and then constantly being that reminder of, like, get out of the Seattle, like, acceptance, which we shouldn't. We should want to be accepted by our own home and own people. However, knowing the climate of our people and the unfortunate climate of our people, of like, you got some who want to see you doing good until you're doing better than them.
Yep.
You got some who love what you're doing, but now you might be in the same lane as them, and you're opening them up to things that they didn't already know, so now they don't want to support. Or you got how Seattle, I hate it, but it's like Seattle kind of is like a big high school in a way when it comes socially. Like you might have a woman per se who doesn't want to support the music because of however experience they had in middle school. Or they said they didn't like my t-shirt at the school dance or whatever, and then they still hold that on until an adult.
Yeah.
And then it's like, because of that, we get in our way of being able to execute the ultimate vision because nobody can see past the little small BS, the little kid stuff, you know? And so it's like, that's also what we hold ourselves back more than people gatekeeping or like it not being the opportunities out there for us. It's like, we don't do any better with trying to like pull the opposite from that. Like we add the fuel to that fire just as much as it's already there. So it's like, just trying to navigate that.
Yeah.
And just trying to like rise above that and like not let it confine the vision, or I feel like I gotta alter it to be and fit a smaller minded, you know, person or a smaller minded vision. Like I can't shrink myself, like, you know, I can't dim my light. I can't make my ideas any smaller. Like they just continue to grow. So it's like either you're with it or you're not. And it's like either way, I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So it's like you can either be there right next to me or just hear about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's important too because I think sometimes you have to disassociate yourself when it comes to artistry from the emotionalism, you know, right? Because that emotionalism or the need to feel accepted, especially as a musician. I mean, you got to have people who are rocking with your stuff in order for you to be successful. That's the name of the game.
And it's like, because of that, it kind of cripples the artists here from Seattle too, because then it's like the smallest compliment, like not saying like, we're not knocking any type of compliment. We're thankful and appreciative of any type of appreciation for our craft, the likeness of it, any of that. However, it's like Mafi. Mafi is the main artist that I manage right now. And so it's like with him, like sometimes he'll send me other people that he like likes or whatever and be like, man, they're talking that stuff. And they're like from Atlanta, you know, the more mainstream crowd. But then I'll hear it and it's like, bro, you're better than what I'm hearing. This sucks. So it's like, have that, you know, you got to keep having that same drive for yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, just constantly reminding us that like, we're here too. You feel me? And just as much as these artists that come to Seattle, like you don't got to fan out because at the end of the day, you're a rapper too.
Yeah.
You go to the studio and clock in just like they do. You can get booked for a show and travel, and girls like you from Instagram just like they do. So what makes you or them any different to where you got to feel like, like I just hope they like me. Like this is your city. And that's the only like issue that I have when it comes to like the artistry or music industry here in Seattle. It's like we let other people come to our city and just do what they want. They don't tap in with nobody. They're not gonna make sure, all right, bet, I'm not leaving without a feature with somebody from here. They could care less.
Yeah.
They come here, they do their show, they get their money, talk to whatever girl they thought was cute, and then pew, I'm out of here. But it wasn't like, oh man, Seattle was a great place. For you guys who don't know, like make sure you tap in with them. Make sure you reach out to a Cuddy, a low key. They're gonna get you right as far as the A&R connects with whoever you need in the city, whatever engineer. It's not like that. But at the same time, it's up to us to build that culture to make it like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I've been trying to, you know?
I love this. I love this whole conversation because I think people like you can really make it happen, Cuddy. I think you have to have a layer of determination to pummel through those times where it feels thin. And, you know, some people, I mean, we've heard this a bunch of times from folks from Seattle, but it's like, you got to leave Seattle in order to make it. Once you make it, then everybody in Seattle will be like, oh my God, you from here? You
that's
from
my
there?
cousin, that's my brother.
Right.
We've been brothers for, no, bro, you wasn't, no.
You wasn't with us when we were shooting in the
Come
gym.
on.
So I think it's a great message to put out there to folks in terms of supporting our local artists here. And the thing is that it's not just to support them because they're local, but it's supporting them because they're great.
Yeah.
You know, when we actually listen and dive into some of the dope artists we have here, you know, we can put our people on the map. But that's been a age old conversation in the music industry for sure.
And I got an example of that for you, like a recent example. Recently, like I just got back. Me and Mafi went to the DR for my birthday, right? And so we're out there. We got we met someone who's kind of like a liaison for tourists and whatnot. And so he one of us, so he's putting us on. And we happened to go to a club. And as we're walking in, Mafi like stopped and talked to someone, but I wasn't thinking nothing of it. It's dark. I'm just like, whatever. He's just tapping in with the locals. And then he's like, yeah, that was Earl Spence. The world champion boxer just lost to Bud, but that's our guy. You feel me? He's a dog. And so I'm like, ain't no way in the DR. So I go back out and I end up talking to him. He ended up coming back to our section, ended up hanging out with us that whole night. But I say all that to say, because it led up to the guy who was the liaison. We've been playing Mafi's music the whole time he's been with us, and he enjoys it. And so he ended up convincing the DJ to play one of Mafi's songs. So Mafi ended up got to perform in front of that entire club, in front of a world champion boxer. And when he got off stage, he was like, bro, that was you? Like, nah, you got something going. Like, you're hard. And it's like, it struck something in Mafi. Because it's like, dang, like, I be trying so hard. And to get that appreciation and the fact that someone who's at an elevated status, a celebrity, been there, done this, for him to just say, I like it. Keep doing what you're doing. And it's like, why does that have to hit so hard? Like, something like that should be constant. Bro should get tired of hearing that. Yeah. But it's like, it's a luxury to be appreciated. Yeah. And so it's like, that's why as a manager too, I just always let bro know, like, you the one, bro. Like, nobody can stop you but you. You're only gonna go as far as you wanna go. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not gonna be an enabler here. I'm only gonna do what's necessary and talk to whoever, type of I'm gonna do what's ever necessary and conducive to this overall vision where you said you wanna go. Anything less, I'm not doing it.
You know what? This is why I love this, because you was here talking the same stuff. You're like, man, you were researching how to pull tours together.
You put me on. Come on, you put me on.
You already know. Like, so I just love being able to be like, yo, when we know something, we can share knowledge. That's beautiful. And it's so important when we're talking about uplifting folks. So I just want to thank you for the work you're doing there, because it's needed, Cuddy. It really is. But, this is Women's History Month. I got to ask you, we've been asking folks this week, really, who are some of those women who have inspired you? There may be some female artists out here that are doing great stuff, but tell us about some of those special moments in your life that have been inspired by women.
Really with my family, for real. My grandmother, for starters, because that's the foundation of it all. Like, even just this past Valentine's Day, just being able to have that luxury to still write her cards and being like the second woman that I love behind my mom. And especially like losing my mom too at a young age. It's like the appreciation and value of my grandmother and the role that she plays has been tremendous. Another person, my little sister, Cameron, like she looks up to me so much, but it's like everything that I do is just for the benefit of her. Like, I know if I make it, she gonna make it. Like, she stresses about school and little different things like that, but I'm like, it's only a matter of time till I call you and tell you to quit everything, and you could do whatever it is you want to do, because we got the means and resources to be able to do it. So it's like, her just being there and just them eyes looking up at me and just knowing how much I mean to her, it like means the world to me. So that for sure. I would have to say my twin cousins, Rashawn and Rochelle. They're my everything for real. We're cousins, but it's like we're so much more closer than that. And just the things that we're involved in together, the conversations that we've had, and that we're actually doing it in real life and in real time. And just even their love and appreciation for me, telling my dad, like, I'm thankful for you having him like that. Like, that's what keeps me going, And then another person is Erica. Erica is a friend of mine, and she is great. She changes the way and my level of thinking. She changes in, like, how I view things and the awareness of myself and my intention and presence and what I do every day. It's like, she gives me that opening eye and clarity for it, and just to continue to affirm me for what I already affirmed for myself, but just to hear it from her, it's like, it just hits different, It is like, so just to have those type of women in my life and knowing that they're all behind me and looking at me to lead them to be able, to victory for real. Yeah. Like, those are big shoes to fill, but shoes that I'm more than happy to fill. And like, happy to have the opportunity to be able to fill those shoes. So it's like, I'm thankful for all of them.
That's what I'm talking about, Cuddy. It's always good to have the motivation, right? And family is one of the greatest motivators. I feel the same. Well, you're also doing some things here at Converge. You have stayed connected to the efforts here. You're helping us make sure we are putting events on for folks, and we're getting folks on notice about all these dope events. Tell us more.
And it's all about alignment. You know, this is a year of alignment. Like, I was doing events while I was directing.
Yep.
You know, throw day parties, music festivals, and all that things. So it's only right to be able to take on that department. And so it's been a fun journey. It's allowed me to connect deeper than I already do with community, you know, like reaching out to my DJ friends, my promoter friends, tapping out into that outlook and that creative field that Seattle has to offer to be able to get the word out for those events. So that's been fun. It's been cool to see all the different things going on in Seattle, because a lot of the times too, we've had those conversations where someone very notable, or like a person that came here, like, how are we not seeing this? How are we not at that show? How do we not know they came and blessed our city with their presence? And it's like, it's because the word doesn't get out there. Not saying that it doesn't, at which the style that we have is not currently conducive. So just being able to fine tune and create that new way to get this message out there, that's the biggest goal behind this events page. But yeah, to be able to align what I already do and then align that with Converge and be able to help them and be a good asset for you guys, like, I love it.
No, well, see, that's why I got to give you time. You got to look right there in the camera. Let them know if they're like, man, I need my event to be on there. I want to make sure people know. Look right there and let them know how they do it.
Most definitely. You can submit your events at whereweconverge.com/events, or you can email me directly at curtis@whereweconverge, at which you can submit your events flyer, a description, or whatever detailed information you for sure need the people to know. Send that over to me and I'll make sure that it's up on the website. And again, that's whereweconverge.com/events. And if you're on social media, you can also DM me events on Instagram at Cuddy the Sensei, or Facebook at Curtis Delgardo II.
Cuddy, it's so great to have you here.
Always.
Thank you for all the work you're doing.
Appreciate you.
Seriously, appreciate you. Y'all, I'm telling you, we done got Friday off to a amazing start with this Fashion Fly Friday. Up next, we got somebody who stays fly. It's my director. Up next, Erik Kalligraphy is in the building, y'all. Definitely don't want to miss this much needed discussion right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, and the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you back to this Fashion Fly Friday. Look, I'm so used to Fitness Fridays, y'all, but I'm excited because Erik is joining me. What's up, brother?
Hello. Well, one thing I know, I can't do fitness Friday. I've seen Dion. That man coming here flexing.
No, it's so funny because he's like, "Oh, y'all had a dumbbell over here. I'm just gonna do some curls." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yo, man, you're doing too much, bruh." But you know what? This is a really fun time to have you on. I mean, we're talking this whole week about so many different things with some phenomenal queens in the building. So it's only right that I end with kings. Thank you for all the work you're doing. You've been in the artist community for a long time. And I want to start there because I've been seeing your posts recently, Contemporary Love Affair, if y'all didn't know,
Yeah.
with all of these phenomenal photos. And I was like, is he just going through his like stock pile of photos? Because you were doing some phenomenal photo dumps. Tell us about what made you first pick up that camera.
Ooh, so I first picked up a camera at 17. I was in well, actually, no. I had already got my GED because I was out of school by 10th grade, right? Um, and there was really nothing for me to do. I was at Seattle Central and I was just floating around between different mentors and people. And they were like, hey, maybe you should go to Youth in Focus right there in Columbia City. So I got a film camera, a little point and click, and I was just running around. Then I dropped it. I just said, okay, I'm done with photography because everybody told me I couldn't make any money off of it. And when you're 17, you're like, I need to make some money, right? So I just dropped the camera. And then recently when I picked it up, I got sober. And the whole Emmy speech where I say, you can change your destination, or you can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. It was something I thought about a lot. So I picked up this camera and I was just going around shooting for no reason. There was a whole situation behind it, but it's Feel Good Friday. We'll save that for a Wellness Wednesday.
There we go.
Right? But then O called me and he was like, hey man, what are you doing? We're down here at African Town, remember? Right? And I came down, I had an SL2 at that time. And I came down there with my huge newer lights and we just been moving ever since. And every day is practice. Every day I wake up and I remind myself I'm an amateur at this. No matter how much I learn, no matter how many cameras I have, right? There's always something new and fun to learn. And it keeps me grounded. I get to see the world with peace, right? I get to remember moments in time. So as far as these photos dumps that you're seeing, I have 3 years worth of maybe 4 years worth of photo dumps because I've been doing everything else under the sun and keeping my photography to me, right? And it's time to just let it go.
Well, I gotta say, there's some beautiful imagery, to be honest, and you have such an aesthetic, a certain specific eye for photography. But you mentioned this journey of really like self-discovery. I think of almost any recovery journey. There's some layers of self-discovery there. What made you say, I need to go on this journey of recovery? I got to do this for me. And tell us about some of those peak moments during that time.
Well, it's simple. I've been getting in trouble my whole life, right? And I've been holding on to resentment from what is just my environment, right? Or the world that I was brought into from my parents, all the different houses I switched, right? To when I say I had a camera at 17, I also had my first apartment. I'd already spent 2 years homeless. You know what I'm saying? Going through all of that and all those bumps, when you're in the mess, you start to forget that there's a way out. You just stay in it. So all of a sudden, I'm drinking, right? I'm partying, right? I'm holding on to everything that people like about me, right? But not holding on to anything that I like about myself, right? So no matter what, I used to be homeless and taking photos on Facebook and everybody thought I was popular, right? I'd be at the club, homeless, right? Partying, right? And then everybody else would go home and I would just go back to the block, right? I'd go do something. I'd go get some money, scrape up some change, right? And then drink it away, partying, trying to be in this image of everybody else. And at some point, I had to go, I can't hold on to any of this anymore, right? I can't hold on to people's opinions about me. I can't hold on to any of this, right? Because I can't look myself in the mirror, right? And that's the biggest change I had to take, right? If I didn't change, I'd probably be dead, to be honest with you, you know?
Well, it says a lot too about like knowing when is the right time for you to before you hit that uh, point of no return, right? And this is 6 years
Yeah,
sober for you.
almost, yeah.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is that the things that you found again about yourself. I just appreciate hearing you say you were seeing what everyone else was loving in you, but none of it was what you were loving about you. I mean, that's
Yeah.
very profound. But it's also the layers of resilience. When we've been talking about leadership and Black women in leadership, there are themes that come up around that, and so much of it is okay. How do you navigate, the treacherous waters? How do you stay grounded, right? How do you care for yourself in the midst of all of that when you're doing all of this growth?
Yeah.
And what people are experiencing as growth. There's so much that um, you personalize, but you also like hold it here,
Yeah.
in your own mind, in your own head. How did you find that way to get out of your own head in that regard? To like take this path and be like, I'm not going back to that, because you ain't been like, oh, I'm gonna just, hey, yeah, no, I watch you in social spaces be like, nah, I don't do
Yeah.
that, right? Like, there's something really grounding about that.
Well, one, I didn't quit everything to become a new person, right? Some people run away, right? I was never raised to be a runner, right? So from the first day that I got sober to today, I still actually bartend full time, right? I still make cocktails and make drink menus. I still go have a social life, right? And a big part of that is I can't allow myself to judge other people, you know, on what they're doing, because guess what? I am happy and I wish I could be them because they can drink responsibly. I cannot, right? And I know that about myself. Doesn't mean I have to be a Debbie Downer to everybody in the room.
Yeah.
It just means I have to find what gives me peace in the room, which does mean I don't go out as much as I used to. I do pick and choose what I do, because staying grounded in my head is an everyday process. Sometimes I wake up, Jay-Z said, first the fat boys break up. Now every day I wake up, somebody's got something to say, right? Or something like that, right? He did 3 verses where he started that song the same way, right? That's an actual reality. No matter where you're at in life, that first call in the morning could be anything, because I don't control my environment, right? I control what I do in my environment. And that's the easiest way for me to stay grounded. I can make it complicated and say, oh, I started drinking tea and, I have self-care days and I'm constantly reworking my schedule. But no, the root of that is I wake up every morning to make the choice to be grounded, and then I go to bed and I still have to make that choice to stay grounded, because I go through feelings at night. I'm an all-nighter, right? So I could be up at 3 in the morning when I finally get some peace, it's quiet, and now it's me and my head, right? And I get to check those thoughts. I get to have these conversations with myself and know, well, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and that's a blessing, period.
Yeah, 100%. And I think everyone around you experiences your calming nature. You're pretty chill, y'all. I call him the Marvin Gaye of our time, and he's not even an artist like that. But I'm like, you're just, and I didn't know Marvin Gaye clearly, right? But there's something really special about this old soul feel that you have, even with some of the amazing dope playlists that he has, y'all. He be putting me on the new music all the time. But there's something that, it drives you in that way. And I get to watch you here. And, you and I, this is my brother, y'all, seriously. And so,
Yes.
as much as we connect, I really want people to understand what you bring here to Converge, because, it's not just about, what you're doing behind that desk when you're directing, but it's also about how you could constantly are pouring into the talent here, to the folks who are trying to figure out, man, do I got a show? Is my concept good enough? You're having conversations about this all the way outside of these
Oh
walls,
yeah.
where you're constantly pouring into others. And I see you do that to let the folks know about some of the dope things that you're doing here at Converge.
Whew. Dope things that I'm doing here at Converge. First off, I think everything that Converge does is dope, right? And I have many titles, many positions here, right? But just know I have many hats,
Yeah.
right? So O calls me, you call me, anybody calls me, and I'm not at work, I show up. So it could be, hey, Erik, I need you to come down to the studio, remove the tape off the floor, right? That's fine, I can do it. It could be, hey, Erik, we need you in this content meeting, right? Hey, Erik, we need you to come record Besa. Hey, Erik, whatever it is, I know that all I can do is be authentically myself, ever, right? So as long as I bring myself into the situation, hopefully it goes right. Now, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, right? But those people weed themselves out, right?
Yeah.
And you also, being authentically yourself, remove yourself out of situations without ever thinking about it, because you go, I don't like it, So I'm actually, one, thank you, because being a common, it's chaos up here sometimes, right? But it's just, everything here is fun to me, and everything I do here is fun. I'm looking forward to this whole year, because one thing about sobriety is you have to understand your schedule and your time, right? The better you get at yourself, the more you start understanding the concept of time, and how time is really the only currency you can't get back. So you have to look into the future and schedule that out so you don't mess it up, and be very intentional about the things you do. A lot of people don't talk about intention. And actually, here on this show, everybody talks
Right.
about intention, right? I should get my Harusit on.
Yeah.
But being intentional about how I speak, being intentional about what I'm speaking to others about, being intentional about my answers to people. Sometimes they say you got to pause 3 seconds before you answer somebody so you can gather your thoughts, right? So I think that just helps communicate when somebody's going through some stuff. I listen. I actually listen. And then I respond. A lot of people wait to talk to respond.
Yeah.
And it's a mess, right?
Yeah, because people are trying to put their own things out their heads, or, make their point known. So I do appreciate that, because y'all, he listens to me and me listening to me. But, as we think about women, Women's History Month, this has been a theme this week. And I definitely want to ask you about some of those phenomenal women in your life who helped, to be inspirational and intentional in your world.
It's funny because I was listening to you ask other people this question all week, right? And my mind's just been thinking about it. And I've come to the conclusion at this moment that I think every woman in my life that I have either come in contact with, with positive or negativity, right? Has helped me grow in a way, right? So women that stand out to me, obviously I'm here with you 5 days a week, right? You stand out. I got my aunt who I watched work for the city and tell me every day that I have to do something because this life is what it is, right? I have my grandpa's wife who's a little different. I still call her mommy, right? But she said, man, look, man, you are who you are, and nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to do. And you better not be no punk, right? You know what I'm saying? I have my sisters. I have my community, people like Julie C. or Luther or, Marie, who's just on here. These people really like seen me grow up. My sister, Randy, rest in peace, right? When I was out there, she was one of the few people that would see me anywhere, pull out and say, man, get in the car. Man, what are you doing out here? And she would look at me and she would ask me all the questions somebody else wanted to ask. Are you doing drugs? Because if you are, man, we're going to take you right here. No, right? But all these women in my life have always shown love, period, right? And as a child who didn't believe that love existed or had any love, I couldn't see the love that I was receiving, right? Because I was so hard on the inside. Feeling that love and going back and understanding it, I have appreciation for each and every woman that's ever been in my life, right? And actually almost everybody that's been in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because every person is a little piece of me because I had to pick it up, right? Even if I was like, I don't want to hear that, then guess what? I heard it and I had to go home and think about it or go wherever I was going to think about it,
That's right. Well, E, I just want to, thank you. As I was saying to Cuddy earlier on this episode, just thank you for your love, for your care, your support, your dedication here, going through that rebrand. It was, we were just in ideation mode. It was like every day we're like, okay, what's the sound? What's the feel we want to evoke? And I think both of us, when we look at the intro to this show, there's so much pride. I think that
with
Trae,
Trae,
right? We
pump it up,
right? I mean, just the connection is real, and so I can't thank you enough for all that you do here. And I know you do a lot for everybody else, but I'm talking about what you do for me. I just appreciate it because, I know that, you're someone who really wants to see this show and me succeed in all of the ways that we talk about. So thank you so much. If folks are trying to get a feel for those photo dumps I was talking about, let them know right here how they connect to you and all what you're dropping.
Whew, man. So photos, I got a lot of things happening this year. I decided to take this year and be intentional about myself and the things that I missed out on because of whatever. So yes, if you want to check out my photos, go to Contemporary Love Affair on IG. You can also look me up as Kalligraphy45. You can Google Erik Kalligraphy at this point, which is kind of cool, right? Let's see. You can also always go to Converge, right? Matter of fact, before you look me up, you should definitely go to www.whereweconverge.com and check out all the cool things that other people are doing, because I guarantee you at some point I had a part in it, right? And man, other than that, see me outside. I am outside all the time, all right? And if you see me, please stop me. I'm a hugger. I got a hug for you, right? I at least got 5 or 10 minutes of conversation for you. Most of the time you might have to walk with me, but yeah.
Erik out here pouring out the love. Thanks so much, E.
Man, thank you for letting me sit here.
Yeah, anytime.
All right.
Y'all, I'm going to be wrapping up this amazing fly fashion fellow Friday right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. See you guys in a few.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I just got to say, huge shout out to my guest today, Cuddy Delgardo II. All the work he's doing in the music world. And of course, my brother, Erik Kalligraphy, for joining me today. It was a real pleasure to wrap this week up with some phenomenal kings as we uplift women throughout this month of March and Women's History Month. But you know me, I'm just inspired, y'all. These are two brothers who have really poured into me, specifically the work I'm doing here by bringing you this show and bringing my own brand and my talent out in the ways that I get to do here at Converge. So I got nothing but love for both of them. They have really been some guiding lights for me here. And sometimes it's just me and Cuddy, and other times now it's just me and E, sometimes up in here. And I just appreciate what they have really poured into me and how they have shown up for me. And I'm inspired by them. You know, no matter what it is that you can do out here, do something, because you can also inspire someone else and be a part of the solution, as all my guests have shown you this week. I thank you for watching this week. And you know, for me, y'all, until Monday at 11 a.m. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.